What happens if a buyer's loan falls through? We'll cover that today on Frequently Asked Friday. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time you're seeing this. My name is Elliott over at Remax. Today we're going to be answering the much asked question, what happens if a buyer's loan falls through, specific to when you're selling a property. And full disclosure, this is going to be very specific to Central Virginia, which is the area that we operate in, and how this plays out in our template contract. So if you would like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, appreciate it, but let's just jump right into it. So per our contract, the buyer has 5 p.m. until the day of settlement to obtain written loan commitment. That is straight from the Central Virginia template purchase agreement. If the buyer does not obtain written loan commitment by 5 p.m. on the day of settlement, the seller has the option to terminate the contract, or if after diligent effort the buyer is not able to secure financing, the contract terminates itself. So what happens if that happens? That's a good question. Unfortunately for sellers, and this is always kind of a little bit of a rub for sellers, the buyer, if they're not able to obtain their financing, the buyer is entitled to get their full earnest money deposit back. So basically they get to walk away scot-free. They get all their money back, minus money they spent for inspections or appraisal. In short, the seller is kind of left high and dry because you've had your property tied up for 30, 45, 60 days. You've missed out on other opportunities, and the buyer gets to walk away essentially with their earnest money deposit. So it kind of sucks. But question is, how do we prevent this? So a couple things that we do is we always need to consider the strength of the buyer's financing when we are considering offers. We see this all the time with clients where they will just look at the price of, hey, who's got the highest price? This is really where terms comes into play, or one of the areas where terms comes into play. You've really got to look at it and say, all right, I've got these multiple contracts, or I've got these 2 contracts I'm picking from. Which buyer has the highest likelihood of being able to get to the finish line? Because that's all that matters. It doesn't matter how good of a deal it is. If it doesn't get to the finish line, it doesn't matter because it's going to go up in smoke. The other thing you do, and this is really the job of your listing agent, making sure you're working with a good listing agent, is having that agent do their due diligence with the lender of, hey, asking the lender the right questions. What does this person do financially? Have you looked at their W-2s? Have you looked at their tax returns? Tell me about their credit score. What do you know about this buyer? And we're just looking for red flags. We're looking for making sure that the loan originator working for the lender has done their due diligence, done their homework on this buyer, and that pre-approval letter that they sent with the buyer's offer is actually worth something, because most of them are not worth the paper they're written on. So hope this makes sense. If you have a question, concern we didn't address, throw it in the comments. Otherwise, hope you have a great rest of your week. Look forward to seeing you next week.